Ladies and gentlemen, there will be a new book published in September in London at the Palgrave Macmillan publication house. The title is An Accidental Brexit. This is a book which looks into the run-up to the EU referendum in 2016, in the background of the referendum, and in the consequences of a potential Brexit. The book basically argues that there is a very thin legitimacy for Brexit, since the result of the referendum is not the result of an orderly referendum. An orderly referendum would have brought the information for all households in the United Kingdom what was the finding of the Treasury report on the long-run benefits of British EU membership. Or, as you might say, what are the costs of Brexit? And the Treasury report said that there will be minus 10% loss of GDP. So that is a very important figure, and for some very strange reason it was not included in the government brochure. Had it been included, we can figure on the basis of popularity functions for the UK that the result would have been 52.1% in favor of Remain. There are other important findings in the book concerning the very strange rhetoric of anti-immigration messages from Mr. Cameron. The OECD shows that Britain has benefited from EU immigration, even in a fiscal sense, so there was a net contribution to the British budget. And there are more very important findings. One concerns the question, why is the short-term impact of the Brexit referendum fairly small? Well, that is not so difficult to understand, as it is shown. One aspect being that the United States stock market rally under the Trump administration, of course, raises the stock market price index in London, and that stimulates investment. But there should be no doubt, in the long run, there will be very considerable negative external impacts for the UK. And of course, it will also be negative for the European Union. The question, and this is one of the final topics addressed in the book, is what should be the conclusions from this? One conclusion for the United Kingdom could be that there should be a second referendum. Of course, it's up to the British population to decide whatever they want, but it should be a decision under an orderly referendum. The European Union should really consider very broad reforms. It should be much more in line with the challenges of the 21st century. So digitalization, the rise of Asian economic countries, of the impressive role of China, and we should have much more free trade agreements with countries from Asia. So far, the EU has only an agreement with Singapore and with Korea. And finally, of course, there is the question, how is Brexit affected by Trump economics? Well, that's a big question mark, because if the May government really wants to have a global Britain approach in the sense of more free trade agreement, then there will be a big problem if the United States continues with its anti-multilateral policy. That means weakening the Bank of International Settlements and the World Trade Organization, and in such an environment, to have such a free trade approach will be very difficult.